What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another Euro 2024 fantasy video. In this one, it's my final team selection of the tournament for the final itself. I'm going to show you how the team is shaping up. We've got 5 free transfers to use. I've already used 2 of them. I've got 3 left over, and I'll quickly show you how I did in the semi-finals as well. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. Just to let you know that this video has been sponsored by Surfshark. Links in the description below for that, and more to come on it later. So let's start with how I did in the semi-finals, and it was terrible. I finished on 33 points total, and that is it. I got attacker returns from Kane and Mbappe. There was a few ball recovery points here and there. Outside of that, no other returns from my entire squad, and that's made me fall from about 80k down to 137k. So overall, Euro 2024, not a great tournament for me from a fantasy perspective. Would it have gone better had I gone for less England players throughout the tournament? Possibly, but that's not the only reason I've done badly. I didn't focus on ball recoveries enough earlier on in the tournament, and ultimately I've had hardly any captain returns. I did captain Mbappe for day 1 of the semi-finals, and he got 5 points, but I just felt like, is that really enough to stick? In the end, it was, right? Most people, if they didn't twist, have probably done better, but I wanted to move on from that, and I've gone for Foden, and to be fair, I think I was a little bit unlucky to get no returns from Foden, especially in that first half. He played really well, was arguably England's best player. He's hit the post. He's had a goal saved on the line. Like, he could have had more returns. So I actually think that was a good call to switch without hindsight. But obviously it doesn't look great now because he's blank, got 2 points. No ball recoveries, and gone off a little bit earlier than some of my other players. So, yeah, just terrible. I mean, Kane won the penalty, so he gets points for that and scored it, which is a little bit different from FPL. Was it a penalty? It's a little bit soft. I think most people would agree on that. There's lots of people that say it's just not a penalty whatsoever. I wouldn't strongly argue against them. All I would say is if that happened anywhere else on the pitch, you'd get a free kick for it. And whether or not we should be giving penalties for the same things you get free kicks for, like miles away from the goal, maybe not. And that's a whole different conversation I'm not going to get into here. But I do think you get that foul somewhere else on the pitch. But should it have been a penalty? Probably not, but you absolutely take that. And obviously England now through to the final. So just to rattle through the points that I got, Maignan and Hernandez. So Maignan for France got 1 point. Hernandez got 3. Ruiz and Rodri got 2 each from the first day. I subbed all of those players out. I got Verbruggen in goal, also got 1 point. Stones and Gay, Koundé and De Frey all got 3 points. I think they all got a ball recovery, I'm going to assume, right? Because that point wouldn't have come from anywhere else. Actually, that can't be right, is it? No, hang on a second. Yeah, John Stones, 3 balls recovered. I thought he had 24 ball recoveries then, but I realised I was looking at the total for the tournament. So all my defenders ended up getting 3 points. And then Bellingham, 1 point. Saka, 1 point. And Foden, 2 points. As I've already said, Foden was probably a little bit unlucky to not get more. Kane won the penalty. Mbappe got the assist. Mbappe early on, I thought, here we go. The mask is off. He's unleashed. He's up against Navas. He's already got an assist. Navas is now on a yellow card. But to be fair, after that, Navas played really well. And he got forward, which gave France something to think about from a defensive point of view. They didn't necessarily want to throw players forward. And Mbappe did okay, but he's pretty poor, I'd say, for most of the game. I mean, he's been pretty poor for most of the tournament, similar to Kane. But I just thought that first 15, 20 minutes, here we go. There's definitely going to be another return here. It just never happened. And Depay went off early. He got 1 point. And that's it. So, you know, I did say on the semi-final team selection that if I wasn't all in on maximum England players, I probably would have had the likes of, I think I had Olmo in my team and I took him out for money reasons so I could have Bellingham, Foden and Saka. Obviously, I'd have more points if I kept in. Xavi Simons was someone I mentioned as well. It is what it is, right? I'm going to back England all the way, including in the final. So let's talk about that after I go through Surfshark. I'm happy to say that this video has been sponsored by Surfshark VPN, which is a virtual private network which will allow you to keep your online identity safe and also enables you to swap your real location for a new one, which is super handy when traveling. I live in Ireland but was recently on holiday in Tenerife, and having a VPN makes it so much easier to be able to consume football content. And if you're someone that watches a lot of Netflix but can't watch the shows you want because they're not available in your location, Surfshark will be able to change that. Surfshark VPN will also allow you to secure your online data and personal information when using public Wi-Fi, like at football stadiums or on holiday. A VPN makes sure that your city, country and download download history aren't linked to your identity. To start protecting yourself online and to be able to unlock content from around the world, make sure to check out Surfshark VPN using the link in the description below, or scan the QR code on screen and use code FPL for an extra 4 months free. Surfshark can be used across multiple devices and for different family members under just one VPN account, and there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you've got plenty of time to check it all out. Just use that link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. So looking ahead to the final, you get 5 free transfers, and I've already used 2, so I've got 3 left over. And one of the moves I made was to bring in Jordan Pickford, because I had Maignan and Verbruggen, who are both out of the tournament. So it was either going to be Pickford or Unai Simon. And I'm going to stick with my... I wouldn't call it necessarily a game plan because it hasn't worked very well, but the way that I want to play Euro 2024 fantasy is to have the maximum amount of England players, and for the final, that's 8 players. So bringing in Pickford was a pretty easy choice. I think in terms of how the final's going to go, Spain are obviously the favourites. They have played the better football so far, but England have slightly improved the last couple of games, although it's worth pointing out they are still not creating many chances from open play. So arguably the better choice is probably to go for Simon, but I'm going to go for Jordan Pickford, and that transfer has already been made. I've still got Gay and Stones left over from the semi-finals. Spain will almost certainly score in this match, so I'm not expecting clean sheets, but with Gay in particular, he is pretty decent for ball recovery, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunity to do that in this match, more so than there was against the Netherlands, because England had quite a lot of the ball. And I won't say Netherlands sat back the whole game. They definitely didn't. But Spain will attack more, and that will give England hopefully more opportunities to win the ball back from a fantasy perspective. So Gay and Stones should be okay. My other 3 defenders are De Frey, Koundé and Hernandez, who are all out of the tournament. So my decision is whether to bring in a Spanish or English defender, and that will depend on what moves I make in attack, which I'll come on to in a minute. I mean, ultimately, I'm going to use all 3 transfers. There's no reason not to have Spanish and English substitutes on the bench, just in case something happens in the warm-up, right? Even if we get the lineup, you still want a bit of cover. I think the options are either going to be Kyle Walker from England, possibly Trippier, but he came off at half-time, so I probably wouldn't risk that. If Luke Shaw starts, I'll almost certainly go for him. But the next safest player is definitely Kyle Walker outside of Gay and Stones. Or I'm going for a Spanish defender. I will probably go for Carvajal because I've got like 5.4 million in the bank. We know he can be attacking. And also, Spain being able to get through that match in the last round against France without the likes of Carvajal, who was suspended, I think can only be a good thing, right? Getting a rest like that and still getting through the game or to the final is handy. So it'll probably be Carvajal, and I'll maybe make English transfers elsewhere. So it's looking like Pickford, Gay, Stones, back 3, will be either with Carvajal or Walker. Probably the Spanish I will go for this pick. So for the semi-finals, I ended up going with midfielders just from England and Spain. So obviously they're all through to the final. I've got Bellingham, Saka, Foden, Ruiz and Rodri. And as far as we know, they're all available. There's no fitness issues or anything like that. With the 2 Spanish players, I think they are pretty good for ball recoveries. We've seen Rodri score plenty of goals before. Ruiz should have scored in the semi-final against France. There's a really good cross. I think it was from Jamal, and he headed it over. And he's already scored 2 goals in this tournament, so we know there's a bit of pedigree there. I think they're both good options, but with money in the bank, I'm going to bring in Olmo. Because I went so heavy on England already, I'm not struggling to get 11 players out for the final, and I can make a few luxury transfers with money in the bank. So I think Olmo will come in probably for Rodri, and then my decision is whether to keep Ruiz and go for an England defender if I want to stick to 8 England players, or go for Carvajal in defence, and then go for Declan Rice instead. So I've got Ruiz and Rodri right now, but one of them will definitely be Olmo, I think, because he's just shown, right? He's already got like 3 goals, 2 assists, and I don't think he's played... He definitely hasn't played every game because obviously Pedri started before. Let's see here. He got 31 minutes in the first match, didn't play the second, and he's played every game. Sorry, no, he didn't even start against Georgia either, and he got 38 minutes. So to be on 3 goals, and I think it's 2 assists in such limited time, just shows the quality there, and it will be difficult for England to handle someone like him. So I'm probably going to bring him in, and then it's just whether to go for that combination of Carvajal and Rice, or Walker and Ruiz as the other player. So I'm probably going to get rid of Rodri, even though he could go and get a goal or assist. He's definitely good for ball recoveries as well, but that is the move that I'm going to make. England midfielders are going to stay. I think so far, if you look over the tournament, right, England have not played well, but pretty much all the attackers have had their moment, right? Saka against Switzerland, getting the goal, obviously scoring his penalty. Kane got his goal last night. He got that one in extra time as well against Slovakia. Bellingham, goal in the first game, overhead kick. Even Palmer's come on. Watkins scored last night. Tony's got the header for the Kane goal in extra time. He's also scored his penalty. Foden's the only one that's not really been in on the action. I think he was unlucky last night. I don't think he's going to get as much space and time to do what he was doing against Spain because they're just such a better team than the Netherlands. But I'm probably going to stick with him. Right? It doesn't matter at this point. I'm 137k. I'm not going anywhere. I want to captain an England player. So I'm going to go for the one who hasn't quite shown it so far, but came quite close last night. That's the midfield. Let's take a quick look at the forwards, which I think are pretty obvious at this stage. So I'm playing 3-5-2, and my two up front are Harry Kane from England and Lamine Yamal from Spain. And I think that is a combination you're going to see quite a lot going into the final. Obviously, for the final, you've only got two teams to select from anyway, and there's not as many forwards as there are midfielders and defenders to pick from. But those two look pretty good. Harry Kane I had for the semi-finals. He's carried through to the final. Didn't play particularly well again against Netherlands, but as I said in the semi-final team selection video, he could not play well and still get a penalty, and that's exactly what happened. He could get subbed early again, depending on how the game is going. I think it's probably less likely against Spain in a final, but you never know, right? Watkins can come on and score, as he showed against the Netherlands. But either way, no matter what people want or say, Kane will start this game unless he's injured, and so I'm obviously going to keep hold of him. And then Yamal is my second transfer that I've already made. So I did Maignan to Pickford, and I've done Mbappe to Yamal. That's why I've got so much money in the bank. And look, Morata is not a terrible option either. But I think from watching the Spain games, Yamal is the more threatening. And I could play 3-4-3 and go for Morata instead of Ruiz or Rodri up front. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play 3-5-2. So in this setup, if I want 8 England players, it's got to be Defray to an England defender. But as I said, I might just change one of the midfielders instead. So 2 transfers done, 3 left to go. Just to show you what that could look like. So 5.4 in the bank. Again, getting rid of Mbappe helped that a lot. That's why I've still got Depay instead. So I could go for... Who's the most expensive? Sorry, yeah, I would take out Hernandez just because he's the most expensive for Carvajal. So I could do that. Rodri to Olmo. Not that Rodri or Ruiz are bad, by the way, but that's probably what I would do. And then Ruiz to Rice. So that would give me my 8 England, 4 midfielders. I'm not sure that's necessarily a great plan, but that's what I'm going to do. Or I keep Olmo. I keep one of my Spanish midfielders, probably Ruiz, although Rodri is slightly lower owned, and then just put Walker in instead. But I won't use those last 3 transfers now until we get to until Sunday, right, when we've seen the lineup. And that's why I'm happy to make 2 transfers already, just to show you what I'm thinking, because Yamal and Pickford are pretty obvious choices for me. You know, there could be an injury between now and then. If there is, I've got the transfers to not worry about it. That's why I went early on some moves. So even if there was 2 injuries, I could still do the defender move to someone else and then still change 2 of my other players, because I've got so much money in the bank. So I am going to go for 8 England players. Is that the right choice? Maybe not. They're in a final. I don't care. That's how I want to play it. Hopefully you've enjoyed all the Euros content throughout the tournament. I haven't done as well as I'd hope, but maybe I will do in 4 years' time. If you're new to the channel, I do lots of FPL content throughout the season. That's my main bread and butter. That is starting up again soon, so make sure you subscribe for that and hit that like button. If you haven't checked out Surfshark already, links in the description below for that. Good luck to England in the final. Got nothing against Spain, but I hope you lose. Even if England play terribly and win, I don't care. I just wanted to lift that trophy. Will it happen? Possibly not. Spain are the best team in the tournament so far, but for one match only, you never know. Look what happened between Man United and Man City in the FA Cup final. I'll leave it there. Thanks for joining me throughout this tournament. I'll catch you for FPL in the coming days and obviously next week onwards as well. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.